Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. In the blink of an eye, it had already been 800 years since Luo Feng was accepted as a disciple in name to the primal chaos city leader. There were another 2 domain lord level qualification battles. Actual universe every millennium equates to 300 years in Primal Chaos City. Without a doubt, Luo Feng still got number 1 each time, everything else had been normal. Altogether, Luo Feng had been here for over 900 years, actual universe over 3,000 years. During this time, Bolin had become a primal region domain lord and Rong Jun had become an absolute beginning domain lord. Virtual universe, within an island in a special space, with palaces joining together. It was extremely beautiful, an absolute beautiful location. Master. The Master is back. Many beams of lights immediately flew through the island. Many absolutely beautiful ladies and others rushed into the virtual universe the moment they got news from their friends, and silhouettes filled the island. Greetings, Master. Over 100 million staff and ladies all knelt respectfully. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Mad laughter resounded throughout the island. A demonically beautiful man stood before them. He was Yang Zhu Emperor. You. Yang Zhu's eyes burned with madness. He walked amongst the 100 million kneeling before him, and casually picked a few of them. Come with me, he ordered. Yes. The over 1,000 men and women he had picked followed him, but their eyes were somewhat nervous. Ever since 3,000 years ago, their master Yang Zhu Emperor wouldn't even come into the virtual universe, coming in only once every century, and at most staying within for only a month. Every time he came, he would find all sorts of methods to vent. None of the staff dared to resist. There were cries of pain and shock, howling and all sorts of noises from the palace. After a while, he rubbed off the blood stains from his lips, and put on a long robe over his naked body as he walked barefoot. His body flashed as he quickly reached another hall, and sat in the throne above. Lord. 2 men and a lady bowed respectfully within. These 3 were all undying. Yang Zhu let out a comfortable sigh of relief. Being cooped up in the 9th Starfield jail hell was too terrifying. He was set to be locked up for 1,000 eras. Normally, there was no way to connect to the virtual universe network from inside. That entire area was banned by the system from connecting. However, he was Yang Zhu Emperor and his father was Shihua Knight. Shihua Knight had gotten a chance for his son. He would be able to enter the virtual universe network every century for a month. He knew his son's mental state too. If he were to be locked up in there for 1,000 eras without any connection, he would probably go crazy or lose his mind. However, being able to enter the virtual universe every century, to vent it out would help alleviate matters. I only get a chance every century. Those other punks all have to battle it out to find ways to occasionally get a chance to connect, and they only get a short day. Yang Zhu thought, however, I get a fixed chance every 100 years and for a month. If they knew, they'd be truly jealous. It was only thrilling with comparison. 9th Starfield jail hell, that was indeed a nightmare. Those who were all locked within were all that had committed grave sins, and all of them were extremely powerful. You 3, report to me the news of the past century. Yang Zhu sat in his throne, lifting his wine and sipping it. Yes, Lord. The huge Axe Dojo has arranged for another manager at Wulong Starfield, Qi Li Emperor, to substitute you. He just took on the position. The black-robed undying said respectfully. Scum. Yang Zhu's expression grew heavy. Shihua Knight's underling Bao Jin Emperor has led a group of undyings heading to. The undying continued with the reports. As all these were well prepared beforehand, Yang Zhu could easily and swiftly read through them himself. However, he enjoyed bossing them around from high above and listening to them report to him. He enjoyed this feeling. One report after another. After a while. With regards to True Yang's disciple. True Yang has been in Primal Chaos City these past 100 years, without any movement. His disciple Bloodthirst Emperor has been hard to locate. As for his smallest disciple Luo Feng, he's still training in Primal Chaos City, he's on his balcony almost every day. The Lady of the Three Undyings said below. Ha ha. Training on the balcony like an idiot. He really thinks he can finish the first form of the Nan Shan 7 forms within 3,000 years. He must be dreaming. Yang Zhu mocked. When he had heard that Luo Feng had become a disciple in name to the city leader, he was extremely furious, he felt unfairness within. He was punished because of Luo Feng to suffer in the jail hell for 1,000 eras, yet this Luo Feng actually became a disciple in name to the Primal Chaos City leader. These were completely two different levels of fate. How could he feel at ease with this? After which, every time he entered the virtual universe every 100 years. Almost every report he got of Luo Feng was of him training on his balcony. Keep dreaming. HMPH. 3 months after Yang Zhu got his report from his underlings, within virtual universe's Thunder Island. Thunder Island, it was the gathering point of the Undyings of the Virtual Universe Company. Within its highest quarters, there was a majestic palace engulfed in primal chaos energy flow. This was the living quarters of the Primal Chaos City leader. The palace was filled with primal chaos energies, one couldn't visibly see past 100 m. Teacher. Huge Axe Knight bowed respectfully. He still carried his huge axe on his back, and he also had 6 arms and eyes. What's the matter? A voice resounded from the depths of the primal energies. Huge Axe Knight had left Primal Chaos City long ago. Hence he had been teaching Luo Feng from the virtual universe all this while. Naturally, he reported to the city leader in the virtual universe as well. You let me give guidance to Luo Feng. In regards to him, I have some matters to report. Huge Axe Knight said respectfully. Speak. The voice resounded. I've been teaching him every 10 years, yet I discovered, this Luo Feng is quite strange. He said. Strange. Explain. Huge Axe Knight spoke at the endless primal chaos energies, respectfully, yes. When I was teaching him, I discovered his improvement speed is simply terrifying. Although many problems would slightly obstruct him, he'd swiftly break through them every time. There was nothing that actually held him past 3 months, and currently, he's already close to completing the first level of the Nan Shan 7 forms. Close to completion. A blur silhouette walked out from the primal chaos energies. Yes. Huge Axe Knight said respectfully. The city leader stood before Huge Axe Knight. This was a strong-looking gold-armored powerful-looking man, completely different from the one back in Primal Chaos City. He looked at Huge Axe Knight. How long do you think he will take to complete it? If he's fast, in half a year, if he's slow, maybe 3 years. He replied. Looks like I did underestimate him, when I gave him 3,000 years. The city leader smiled. With that smile, it felt like the entire space about had livened up. Looks like you'll be getting one more junior. Huge Axe Knight smiled too. Luo Feng's talent in the Beast God path is indeed shocking. Even though that Nan Shan 7 forms is a top-class training manual, there are no tablets to refer to or anything, it can at most be studied. And for junior Luo Feng to break through so easily, it's very impressive indeed. His future is boundless. The city leader smiled and nodded. 800 years. 3,000 years. His eyes gleamed satisfied. Even though Luo Feng's gold and space law improvement speed was heavenly, to the Primal Chaos City leader, it was but average. And in the Beast God path however, it had made him very satisfied. 3 months after Huge Axe Knight's conversation with the city leader, on a balcony in Primal Chaos City. Luo Feng sat crossed-legged. Suddenly illusionary scales appeared on the surface of his body. In an instant, there was a faint cloak of a single horned lizard all over his body. This was the Beast God illusion. Rumble. He suddenly opened his eyes and 2 beams shot out. It was a terrifying power. The Nan Shan 7 forms, also called the Beast God 7 techniques. It was a way of training to materialize the Beast God itself. When one had finished the 7th level, he would be able to transform into a Beast God. This 7th level was purely imagination, it had yet to be completed. And Luo Feng already had a sense of its energy now. Powerful. Intrepid. The first level scales, completed. Luo Feng opened his eyes and gazed at his body below. During these 800 years, he had occasionally been studying the veins of the scales too, hence he was surrounded by many scattered veins as well. The city leader gave me 3,000 years to complete it. But, I've already completed it in 800 years. Luo Feng was gleeful. It's all thanks to the beast god presence, the beast god statue. Luo Feng was happy. While he was training, he discovered that the beast god presence he had grasped from his trillions of times imitating the statue had helped him a lot. Training the Nanshan 7 forms was ultimately for usage, and since he could already do it, it resonated well and made the first scale portion much easier. What's more, he could personally see the scales from the statue itself, almost like seeing a living beast god. Hence his improvement was so much faster. After tasting the benefits of the beast god presence, he naturally imitated the sleeping beast god statue intensely. His comprehension of the fusion laws grew even more as he began to understand it. Naturally, his grasp on the presence became easier. From not knowing anything, he copied the statue trillions of times to get a grasp of it. However, after understanding the fusion laws, it only took tens of millions of times of imitation to reach the same result. The beast god presence and the fusion laws were interlinked. The more one understood the fusion laws, the higher the efficiency of control of the beast god presence. The more one had a grasp of the beast god presence, the more he would be able to understand the fusion laws. Luo Feng had always maintained the beast god presence being above the fusion laws, both spurring each other, reaching optimum results. Just like that, it only took him 800 years to complete the first level. Of course, within these 800 years, his benefits have been plenty too. His internal world had grown to its limit, with a diameter of 90 million kilometers. Golden Horned Beast and Mosha bodies too had reached Sector Lord level 9. It's time to go visit the city leader, he thought. He jumped down from the balcony and landed in the walkways. Within the city leader's mansion. Your Majesty, Luo Feng, the city leader, has ordered earlier for you to enter when you arrive. The group of undying guards within didn't stop him. Luo Feng smiled and walked in. As they looked at his back, they began to discuss amongst themselves. Entering without a need for verification. Other than the very few individuals, they are all the city leader's disciples. Has Luo Feng become a true disciple? Very likely. The city leader's order didn't come too long ago. He should have accepted Luo Feng as a disciple. Luo Feng stood in the yard facing the primal chaos ruins. He stepped through. Rumble. Time and space warped and he appeared within a vast wasteland. Trillions of other races' corpses filled the land. There was a silhouette sitting crossed-legged within. Teacher. Luo Feng got up and carefully bowed respectfully, not stepping on any of the corpses. The silhouette got up. He turned to look at Luo Feng. Despite the malevolent face he had, his eyes were gentle and warm. He smiled and nodded. Have you finished the first level? I just finished the first scale portion of it, hence I immediately came to report to you. Luo Feng said. Your 9th senior said you'd be here quickest in half a year, slowest in 3 years. I didn't expect you to come here after 3 months instead. He nodded. Demonstrate the first form for me. Yes. Luo Feng said respectfully. Actually, over these 800 years of training, even though he had finished the first level scale portion, in truth, he had only gotten comprehension of the first form. As for its usage and techniques, he hadn't actually learnt anything. The law comprehension was simply that, usage was just as important. Luo Feng had thought of coming earlier to see the city leader, coming without any techniques at all. Luckily, I usually let the Golden Horned Beast train with it, and my human body trained in the virtual universe, often mixing it with the 3000 space claw technique. Finally, I managed to comprehend the most basic usage. Luo Feng was happy within. Rumble. The genetic energy within him swelled as layers of scales appeared on the surface of his body. They even began to appear on his arms. Every scale's engravings were exactly the same as the sleeping beast god statues, but the only difference was that it was smaller. The city leader smiled. At this time Luo Feng had become a human form beast, covered in scales with its intrepid energy engulfing the area. It could be said to be a simple beast-god transformation, however his power level had shot up greatly. Sky-tearing claw. Luo Feng rushed forward fiercely. His right hand covered in scales clawed forwards, almost like the golden horned beast unleashing the technique. Huala! The space within the ruins shook violently. A blurry, terrifying, huge claw silhouette tore through space and dispersed after. After unleashing the move, the scales on his body immediately began to return to genetic energy and disappear within his body, regaining his original form. Teacher. Luo Feng said respectfully. Your claw work is not bad. The city leader nodded satisfied. You've only gained comprehension of the first scale form. In terms of usage, you can use it in spirit weapons, blade work and so on for various usage such as for movement and defense. However, these usage techniques have to be trained as well. Your claw work, however, is not bad at all. Luo Feng was shocked within. Could it be weak? Sky-tearing claw was his trump card, one that he had gotten from studying the beast god pictures and training for a very long time. Even though the golden horned beast had imitated the statue trillions of times, during that period, it had constantly used sky-tearing claw to get a grasp of the beast god presence. From today, you will become my 32nd disciple. The city leader emphasized. The student greets the teacher. Luo Feng knelt down. The city leader looked at this young punk kneeling before him. Compared to his long life and power, this punk was indeed small and weak. Actually, it was like a parent speaking to his child. Normally they pamper the weakest of them the most. In truth, they care about all their children. However, the youngest one is usually the one they naturally took care of the most. One theory. The total number of disciples the city leader had, including Luo Feng, was only 32. There were only 27 surviving, of which 25 were knights and one was an emperor-level pinnacle. The final one was Luo Feng, who was the smallest and weakest. Towards the smallest disciple, the city leader would naturally look after more. And seeing Luo Feng kneel before him today, he suddenly felt as though he was looking at a very lively punk, Kudi from before. Kudi. The city leader couldn't help but feel hurt and rage as he thought of Kudi. He too was a true disciple of his. Back then, the Bug Clan warriors had ambushed him and made him lose his disciple. Actually, once anyone reached the city leader's level of power, killing his disciples was very hard. Even if they were killed and their souls were destroyed. The city leader could reverse time to the point before his disciple's death, reviving him. Of course, reversing time was extremely difficult, and this went against all the universe laws themselves. Hence, as a consequence, there would be a backlash. All in all, reversing time was an extremely hard thing to do. And this move wasn't invincible. It wasn't such that all the dead could be revived. Like Kudai, with the Bug Clan warriors planning everything out, the city leader still lost his disciple. Get up. The city leader said softly. Luo Feng obediently complied. Including you, of the 32 disciples I've had, 5 have already fallen. The city leader said. Among the surviving 26 seniors of yours, 25 are knights. Only one is an emperor-level pinnacle. You are still weak, however I believe you'll reach emperor pinnacle easily. Luo Feng heard the words still weak, he couldn't help but mutter to himself. Weak? He had been in Primal Chaos City for over 900 years, but over 3,000 years had passed in the actual universe. According to Earth's time, he was already over 3,000 years old. 3,000 years of growth, the population of Earth humans had reached an incredibly level, they had filled the entire Milky Way galaxy, even reaching other galaxies. The limit of the population was mainly territory and food etc. Without these restrictions, a small tribe of 10 can easily reach over 100 million in a 1,000 years. Hence, with 3,000 years passing, the number of Earth humans and people in the Luo family had exploded to an extreme level, and with Luo Feng in such a high position on Earth, his family too had the same prestige. Many called him an ancient ancestor, calling him the sacred person of Earth and so on. However, before the city leader, he was still weak. He knew that the city leader wasn't wrong. Compared to the city leader or universe knights, those level of beings, anyone who hasn't lived over 100 million years would be considered small. Luo Feng muttered. From today onwards, you can teleport directly to my palace on Thunder Island. The city leader said. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the virtual universe Thunder Island. As for here, the primal chaos ruins, without my order, you don't have to come here. Yes, teacher. Luo Feng said respectfully. Also, on the day you reach Sector Lord, and the day you decide to leave Primal Chaos City, come here. The city leader said. Yes. Luo Feng remembered. The day he became Sector Lord and the day he left Primal Chaos City. Come visit his city leader teacher. You can leave now. He smiled indifferently. Ah, your authority has been risen. You can search for a lot more information regarding what you want to know through the virtual universe network from now on. The disciple takes his leave. Luo Feng replied happily. The city leader immediately teleported Luo Feng out of the ruins. Only the city leader was left in the wastelands. Looking at the vast ruins, the trillions of other race warriors' bodies around, he sat down crossed-legged again silently. Luo Feng felt the time and space warp before him. He was instantly standing at the entrance of the Primal Chaos Ruins yard. I still thought I'd get some reward after becoming a true disciple. Luo Feng thought and laughed. However, he told me to visit him when I become a sector lord and when I'm about to leave the city. There should be some special reason. If there wasn't, we could simply meet in the virtual universe. Authority risen. Luo Feng was happy within as he walked within the residence, quickly walking out of it and returning to his quiet balcony. He sat crossed-legged and immediately sent a thread of consciousness into the virtual universe to check information regarding the Primal Sky Mountain. With different levels of authority, the amount of information was naturally different. Even though he was a Primal Region member before, he still couldn't find much. He couldn't even find anything about the Hong Alliance. And the status of a Primal Chaos City Leader disciple was extremely high. The authority sure is different. I get much more detailed information now. He sat crossed-legged and smiled. Primal Region Sky Mountain, it sure is hard. Universe level, Primal Region Sky Mountain, one had to have the capability of passing the 12th level of the Heavenly Bridge to pass. Domain Lord level, Primal Region Sky Mountain, one had to have the capability of passing the 16th level of the Heavenly Bridge to pass. Sector Lord level, Primal Region Sky Mountain, one had to have the capability of passing the 20th level of the Heavenly Bridge to pass. Luo Feng looked at the information and couldn't help but exclaim. Tough. The Primal Region Sky Mountain was indeed the hardest of all. Using Tru Yang's words, they had no intention of letting the geniuses pass it. Only absolute geniuses of 10 million eras, very few of them had passed them before. Of course geniuses of 10,000 eras didn't have such ability. Virtual Universe Yuxiong Mountain Primal Region, Luo Feng sat at his desk and looked at his laptop. The screen displayed detailed information on the Primal Region Sky Mountain. It's so tough. Luo Feng muttered to himself. The guardians of the Primal Region Sky Mountain were separated into the foot of the mountain, the middle and the peak. Every level had a bullfighter, an 8-man spirit reader, and a snake illusionist all working together. The foot of the mountain was the easiest, the middle was much harder and the peak was simply absurd. One had to pass all three of them to succeed. It could be said that the intent of the Sky Mountain was never to allow anyone to pass it, hence they erected a tall untouchable standard for all. However, there were bound to be some monster-like geniuses in humanity. Like some 1 in 10 million eras absolute geniuses that have passed it. Can I pass it now? Luo Feng muttered to himself. According to the Nanshan 7 Forms Manual, once I complete the first scale form, I should have law comprehension akin to the 15th level of the Heavenly Bridge. So I should be able to hit the 16th level. The moment I use the Beast God presence, my strength might rise even more. Luo Feng thought. This was in theory a true battle that had many more factors. Like mental state, self-control etc., this was a group attack from a fighter, spirit reader and illusionist. As long as one was somewhat affected by the illusionist, he could easily be killed off by the others. After looking through the data of the Primal Region Sky Mountain, Luo Feng began to search for information on the Sector Lord resource rewards. I had heard that the rewards for Primal Region Sector Lords would be shocking. All of the geniuses give it their all for this specific reward. Luo Feng smiled. I didn't know it'd be this shocking. Large amounts of data immediately appeared on the screen. Higher authority sure is different. Luo Feng was satisfied. Before becoming a disciple of the Primal Chaos City leader, when he searched for this, it had been completely blank. Right now, however, it displayed a large amount of information. Barbata shouted out in shock, "That's absurd." "Yes, it is." Luo Feng took a deep breath, pointing and tapping the screen, opening a file. Sector Lord, this is the most important training period. The way the Virtual Universe Company nurtures its geniuses, at universe level, they are simply doing some training and living within the secret regions. At Domain Lord level, they are given some missions and a guard team. It's still overall very safe without any dangers. However, it takes trials and tribulations for true growth. An absolute warrior has to be molded by the many wars and battles. Hence the Primal Region Universe and Domain Lord levels don't get much rewards. The true rewards come at the Primal Region Sector Lord level. They are as such. After becoming a Primal Region Sector Lord and taking part in the first qualification battle, ranking first will give out 1 billion points reward. Ranking 2 ND, 10th will have a 300 million points reward, ranking 11th, 100th will have a 100 million point reward. Of course, these rewards are only there for the first participation, the second, 3 road, 10th, even the 100th will not have any rewards. As for what the Sector Lords need to buy, they can use the points to exchange for them. Smart enough. Every Sector Lord needs different manuals and treasures etc., hence they simply give points. Luo Feng thought. That's very generous, however it's very hard to get the high points too. As everybody's first qualification battles would be when they had just broken through, they would be newbies in the Primal Region Sector Lord level. Compared to the seniors, ranking first and getting 1 billion points, that's tough. Extremely tough. The ones that get 300 million points would probably be very few. 100 million would be the majority. Luo Feng thought. The points were very valuable. As the Virtual Universe Company treasure trove had many treasures that had to be exchanged for with points, even the powerful Truyang Emperor, he had used points to exchange for the first half of the Nanshan 7 forms for Luo Feng. And later on, their buying power would get even stronger. Like the live fruit or Nanshan armament along with other cheap things, it wasn't actually worth it to exchange for them with points. Items priced at 1 mixed element may require 10 points. However, as the items get more and more expensive, the points begin to display their advantage. Like the Flame Void Gold, if it were to auctioned at 1.5 to 2 million mixed elements, with Luo Feng's current authority, he could get a huge discount when using his points to exchange for it. Using only 500,000 points to exchange for the Flame Void Gold. At this time, the buying power of 1 point was even more than 1 mixed element. And there were many items that couldn't be bought with money, hence many undyings would rather exchange their money into manuals and treasures and so on. 100 million points, its buying power exceeds 100 million mixed elements. Luo Feng thought. And an official level undying's wealth is mostly only around 10 million mixed elements. Every Primal Region Sector Lord. The moment they become undying, even the weakest usually become official level undyings, and they'd definitely be the more wealthy ones amongst the official level undyings. Luo Feng thought. Of course. The points were there to be spent. These points were given for free by the Virtual Universe Company for the Primal Region Sector Lords to use, for them maximize their growth. After all, with 100 Sector Lords in the Primal Region, it only added up to over 10 billion points, or so. The Virtual Universe Company could easily afford this. It was only because Primal Region Sector Lords would constantly be produced, hence they limited the distribution. Luo Feng continued to look at the information on the sector lord rewards. Ah! Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. The virtual universe company gave extra incentives. 1. After passing the universe level primal region Sky Mountain, one would get 100 million points when he reached sector lord level. 2. After passing the domain lord level primal region Sky Mountain, one would get 3 billion points when he reached sector lord level. 3. After passing the sector lord level primal region Sky Mountain, one would immediately get 100 billion points. My God! Brutal. Luo Feng took a deep breath. This was a huge amount. Wow, that's generous. Barbata cheered on his shoulder. That's normal though. How tough is it to pass the primal region Sky Mountain? Normally, only a rare genius of 10 million eras can do it. Naturally they'll give more points to these geniuses. This setup is probably because they are worried that the geniuses would start out strong and weaken and fall later. Hence, they give higher rewards later on. Luo Feng nodded. To succeed in the sector Lord Primal Region Sky Mountain, that required the ability to pass the 20th level of the Heavenly Bridge. This was only one level away from becoming a knight. The moment such a sector lord broke through to Undying, he would probably immediately reach True Yang Emperor's level. His chances of becoming a knight would be very high too. Hence, giving 100 billion points to nurture him would be normal. Luo Feng laid back and lay on his study sofa, lifting a cup of wine. Talent, resources, character, encounters, one cannot lack any of these to become an absolute warrior amongst the trillions of races. Luo Feng sighed. The virtual universe company does work hard to nurture the future warriors. The highest rewards were in the Sky Mountain. Because this was something usually only a genius of 10 million eras could attempt. To the large majority of geniuses, this wasn't realistic to them at all. Primal region sector lords, their rewards were high too. This was more realistic, as it was the goal of countless geniuses. As for the sector lords of the absolute beginning and sky and land regions, they too would get rewards in their first qualification battles, but it was much lower. Let's check what deities of the world level 2 requires. Luo Feng thought. Deities of the world, this was a very heavenly technique. It could multiply one's strength. However, the resources needed for this technique were simply too harsh, and the price was absurd. Having a higher authority sure helps. There were many treasures I couldn't even search for in the past, now I can find them all. Luo Feng was happy. With his higher authority, the treasure trove was much more detailed than before. He easily found the materials he required for deities of the world level 2. However, calculating the points. My God. Luo Feng took a deep breath. Let's attempt the primal region Sky Mountain. There was no choice, he was just too poor. Even after he became sector lord level, he would only get 50 million mixed elements in cash. Nurturing his cloud contact vine and star-eating plants was like feeding a bottomless pit. The most absurd one was still deities of the world. Just a Khan Luo Sai feather alone was priced at 12 million points in the treasure trove. There were even more expensive items required. Whatever he couldn't find before, they were all there now. However, their prices were even more ridiculous than the Khan Luo Sai feather. To actually complete this second level, the amount of points required would exceed over 10 billion points. As for the third level, he didn't even dare think about it. With his authority, he could still only find 3 ingredients he required for it, everything else was still hidden. It was no wonder. Those amongst the Golden Horned Beast sector lords, hardly any one of them had ever finished the second level. How could the solitary Golden Horned Beasts have more treasures than humanity? The amount of treasures the virtual universe company had collected was naturally incredibly shocking. However, these were from countless absolute warriors risking their lives to acquire these. After passing the primal region Sky Mountain, I'll get 3 billion points. Luo Feng thought. With this 3 billion points, my power will rise greatly. Luo Feng instantly vanished from his study. In the center space of the Sky Mountain area, there stood 3 majestic mountains amidst the vast land, and on them glowed bright gold words, Sky and Land, Absolute Beginning, and Primal Region, of which the primal region's sky mountain was obviously the highest. Luo Feng appeared on the land itself, swiftly flying towards the primal region's sky mountain. He landed on the foot of the mountain and looked up at the mountain that stretched through the clouds, after which he looked down at the not too distant foot of the mountain. There lay a huge stone-like oxman sleeping on the ground. Beside him lay a dark purple huge axe. It felt like it was formed from countless bloodshed, and it made one tremble within. "Wake up, Oxman, get the ape man and the snake lady out. I want to attempt the sky mountain," Luo Feng shouted. The oxman, that was deeply asleep, suddenly climbed up, blinking his eyes as he looked about. He saw Luo Feng. "You want to attempt the primal region's sky mountain?" Luo Feng nodded. This video will end here.